All right, so you did come prepared for something, right?
I'm always prepared for something.
All right, what are you going to talk about?
Depends on what you're talking about.
I don't know.
I got to fill in the blanks.
No, we're kidding. That was all planned. So I want to tell you guys a quick story. I had this gentleman that works for me in our trash department, and he comes in with us. He starts working with us. Real good dude. Love the guy. Third day on the job on the snowstorm. One of our trucks is going up this hill. One of our larger trash trucks going up this hill, and it spins out, slides backwards, and lays the truck over on its side. And this is the guy's third day on the job. The guy driving the truck is from New Jersey, so he's used to flat ground, but he's been working with us for a couple months. And the ironic thing is he went up the hill without chains 2 weeks prior in the same kind of snowstorm, but this snow was just different. It was slippery. Super duper slippery, right? And so he gets up there and he goes up the hill and spins out, slides down, and he tries to get control of this doggone thing, and he drops the front of that truck into the uphill ditch. He got it shut down, able to pull it back out on the road, and right about then it just slides off the road and lays itself right over, right? Crazy deal. We ended up getting the guys out. Everybody ended up being fine. The newer gentleman had sprained wrist, that's it. And that's just whenever New Jersey was getting out of the truck, he stepped on his wrist.
Oh no!
You know, and one thing with a trash truck, people don't wear seatbelts in trash trucks because you're getting in and out of them all the time, right? And so you go from stop to stop to stop to stop, and there's no, you know, he picked up his last stop, not 1/10 of a mile down the road. This stop, and this was the last stop he had to get before he head back to the barn. And so when it went up, New Jersey fell down, I'm going to call it a 6-foot drop on top of the new guy. And we ended up getting out, get the truck back on its wheels, and thank you, Jesus. That was on a Wednesday. By Friday, that truck was back on the road.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, the new guy, we asked him, I said, you going to come back? Because he's one of those guys that's scared of everything. You ever meet him be like that? He's kind of scared of everything. He watched a movie once about glass and in trash trucks and how glass blows up, and so he's scared to stand anywhere near whenever the trash truck crushes the glass. And so he's like terrified of that. He's scared of getting in and out of a truck because he's watched a YouTube video once about how climbing in and out of a semi truck can hurt your knees. He's one of these guys, you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, dude, this is your job now, man. He's an ex-school bus driver, and so he had this like little push just kind of go where the plows go because it's a school bus route. But he stuck it out. We talked him through a few different things. He showed back up on Thursday, which shocked me like crazy. He completely shocked me. But he showed up, and then now the guy's just excelling. He's facing his fears. He's doing his thing, and stuff like that. But what's crazy about that deal is New Jersey was talking to me. He goes, Josh, we didn't slip one time all day during the snowstorm. Not one time. He goes, I had no idea I should put chains on. I went up this thing 2 weeks ago in a snowstorm, no problem. But now, because with those big trucks and that specific snowstorm, because it's so wet underneath and that nice wet snow on top, when that truck drives over top of it, my gosh, you want to talk about ice? It comes into this, like, it's not even ice, it's like snowpack, like amazing. I walked up there and was walking up to look at the truck, and next thing you know, I was on my head. I didn't even know I was falling until I hit the ground. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. But I need to come and see you. Get my back adjusted. Yes, absolutely. But today we want to talk. Joe and I are going to talk to you guys about a couple different things about control. What is control? How does control work? And we kind of work from there. You ready for this? You can come stand next to me.
I'm ready.
It's all good. So real quick, I want to give you a definition of control. If I can find it here, I have it in here. So a definition of control. How many guys have control of your life? Anybody? You just laughed. The control is this: the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. Control, the power to influence. What's that?
To
But there's someone.
There is someone looking out for control. How many of you guys ever had a stressful situation this last week? Anybody? How many guys hung on to that stress for more than 30 minutes? Yeah? How many guys, maybe 2 hours? We got maybe 2 hours out there? Yeah? How about a day? Anybody got it for a day? All right. Did you know that stressing is control? If you're stressing, you are controlling because you're not letting go. You're stressing. So stress is a part of control. Would you agree with that?
I think stress is the result of control.
Okay.
Because we know we can't handle it and it's not working, so we get stressed. What's that?
When things are out of control.
Yep, then things are out of control, even though you think you're in control. It's
So
not
if
happening.
stress is a result of control, don't you have the choice to not stress? So if stress is the result of control, then how does that work out? If you have the control, the influence, what does it say again? The power and influence to direct your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. How is stress just the results and not an actual act of control?
Stress is, like I said, I think it's a result of trying to be in control. Things aren't working right, so you get fearful, right? Get afraid, and then you start trying to control more, and then you end up controlling people around you to try to control your own situation.
So you have an action that results in, how does that work out again? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so if stress is the result of it, and then you're like, oh no, I'm stressed, and so the result of stress is more control and more stress.
More control, more stress.
Isn't that crazy?
More attempt to control, right?
More attempt to control. I mean, have you guys ever thought about that? Thought about those emotions? Okay, so you got something going on in your life that makes you sad, hurt your feelings. Everybody gets their feelings hurt. We, as men and women, we don't like to say we get our feelings hurt, but whenever you show a stint of anger, that is likely your feelings being hurt. You just got your little feelings hurt. That's why you're mad. You just know that? You ever look at it that way? I know we can justify a lot of things, right? We can justify a lot of things by saying, oh, I'm justified. That person cut me off. Well, you're in control of what? Not his actions, but you're in control of your reaction. Right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, what else you got there?
Well, you're in control of your thoughts. Supposed to be, are we? In control of our emotions, are we? Or are they running us, right? But we can choose how do we respond to things, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if you look at this, you break it down to just the humanity of it all, right? God gave us control. God gave you control of you, right? No, he did not. You don't need the Holy Spirit to be in control of you.
He gave you free will.
He gave the Holy Spirit so you can let go of control and let God have control over you. That's why God gave the Holy Spirit, and that's why God came and died on the cross. But he gave you control over your life. You are in control of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, correct?
And free will, it's called free will, right? So he gave you free will, right?
Yeah.
So then how come God doesn't come in and fix everything instantly?
Because he gave us free will. We have to choose it. Oh, sorry. Have I been listening to church?
Go sit down.
Yeah, you can come up. Bernie, come on. That's awesome.
Still needs it. I'm sorry.
That's 3 pages later. Quit it. Okay.
So what is Joe and I were talking earlier, what is one thing, if you cut every human being on this earth down to nothing, take away the emotions, take away everything else, and you cut us all down to just our basic need or desire, what would you guys say that would be? Anybody? What's that?
Breathe and eat.
No, even lower than that. Come on down, even lower. Self-preservation. The desire to live. Right?
Exactly.
And that's where the breathing and eating comes in, which is a good thing to do if you want to self-preserve. But you think about just that alone, the self-preservation of your situation, or of mankind. Mm-hmm. That's where you get your control. That's where God gave you control, because he gave everybody the desire to live. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah? How many of you guys believe that God is sovereign? Anybody know what sovereignty is?
It's not completely a trick question, so it's
Not a
okay.
trick
You can raise your hand. Yeah,
Can't be acted upon.
yeah, I know. He goes, I'm not buying into that one.
Sovereignty is supreme power or authority. You guys believe that God has supreme power and authority? Mm-hmm. When? Always? Okay. So the Bible defines, the Christianity and theologians can define sovereignty this way. Defines it as that God has the right to exercise his ruling power over his creation. You guys believe that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one I like is that God is God and there isn't any other, right? That's sovereign. He is sovereign God, right? But he's limited himself, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's sovereign over his word, right? But he gave man dominion over the earth. Somebody said that out there, dominion. He gave us control of the earth and control of ourselves. Free will. Courtney, thank you.
Yes.
So if God is sovereign, who has, again, supreme power or authority over my life, and because sovereignty, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Sovereignty is supreme power
He
and
is.
authority, right?
Exactly.
It's not like supreme power. That's what sovereignty means, is supreme power and authority. So if God is sovereign, that means, do I have a choice?
Yes.
Not according to that definition, I don't. Right, but that means he's not sovereign.
Just because he's sovereign doesn't mean he's in control.
Okay. So if he has the right to exercise his supreme power over everybody, or his creation, which would be me,
You have to give him the right.
He's sovereign.
I'm sorry. I'm listening.
no, you're doing great. Everybody's doing awesome. I love it. Keep going, Joe. Grab your notes. Keep going.
It's good,
Keep
huh?
on it. Yeah,
Isn't it?
keep on going.
You got it. You
Get
got
them
it.
all riled up. I love it.
So yes, so he exercised his supreme power and authority when he gave us free will. He told man, right, you take care of the earth, you subdue it, and that doesn't mean beat it up. That means we're supposed to be taking care of it. I'm not a greenie, but you know what I'm saying? He didn't call us to destroy it either. So I'll say that about that. But anyway, he gave you the free will to choose, right? And the free will is manifested through your choices, right? And he doesn't, like we were talking earlier, Josh, and you said he wants everybody to come to him, but he doesn't demand it. I mean, he isn't forcing you, it's you have a choice, right? In Deuteronomy, he said, I've set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Then what was the last verse of that? Do you remember? You choose life, right? That you and your seed may live and that it be well with you on the earth. So he gave us a choice right there. You choose it. And everything that we have in our life is a choice. And he has to honor your choice. But God caused that. Well, no, he didn't really cause those things, but and it's how it's said, right? But he allowed them. He allowed that to happen to you, right? What's that? That's right.
Which is a system that he put in play,
Right.
but it's not because God's beating you up because you're his kid.
No. That's right. So did God cause those accidents to happen? Of course not. Did he allow them to happen?
By not intervening because he gave us free will. Sure. But it still gave us our choice.
I think I have laryngitis. You can finish this message. Right, and Pastor Ed said the other day when he said somebody said, well, he guess in essence, if in the fact that he didn't move with the supreme power to stop it, then he allowed it. But he has to allow it because you allow it. He has to allow what you allow in your life. Does that make sense? Through your choices.
Right. So if you think about, if God puts systems into play, gravity, physics,
Exactly.
free will, The right to choose, right? You have the right to choose whatever you want to choose. You can do whatever. God did not limit you to anything at all. Now, he does warn us, which is what a good parent should do. Warn you, don't touch the hot oven. It's going to burn you, right? So, my point with the whole sovereignty thing and the control thing is this. Yes, God's in control. But he's only in control of what you let him have control over. Right? Now, he's in control of the angels. But in my life, in your life, he is not in control unless you let him. Right? And because I hear people listen to these podcasts, and I hear these guys talking about the end times, and they're talking about, oh, don't worry about it. God is sovereign. He's going to take care of it, which I agree with that to an extent. But the way that the sovereignty has been taught to me is that God is in control. Period. There is no other anything. It takes the foundation of what he did with us out, which I think that's why I've always said this way. The reason that man is on the earth because he got bored of the angels. He got tired of demanding people around. He wanted people to hang out with. He wanted people to talk to. He wanted a family. He wanted his children, right? And that's how I've always seen it. And so, God doesn't need me. 100% wants me. He doesn't need me. He wants me. But what does he want me to do? He wants me to relinquish my control and let him be sovereign over my life. Ultimate power and authority over my life. Why would that be important, Joe?
To relinquish?
Yeah, to give him the sovereignty over my life.
If you want it to work in your life, that'd be a really good idea.
Well, what to work in my life?
Anything.
Anything.
To the extent that you control your own life is the extent that he doesn't. He doesn't share that. I don't believe he shares that. I believe that either you release him in this area. How about, when we become born again, the idea is, Lord, I receive you as Lord of my life. Well, in what area? Just think about our lives, right? Okay, I receive you as Lord of my life for eternity, for my salvation, but what about my daily stuff? Okay, well, I got this. I can handle this, right? Really? So he has to say, go ahead. I'm here when you fall on your face or when you decide, and then we come back to him, we get a little help here or there, but he wants us totally surrendered. He wants to be able to flow everything that he knows and everything he is through you so that you don't have to struggle all the time.
Right, exactly. And that's the point, is how can you live a happy life, the peace that passes all understanding, that the Bible talks about? How can you do that without God? On a moment-by-moment basis. There's a handful of us that said we got stressed out this week. Right? I got stressed out multiple times this week. To me, the older I get, the more I focus and pay attention to this. The moment I get stressed, the moment I get that headache because I don't remember that I'm getting stressed, I stress and clench my teeth. And then I get a headache right there. Right? That's my alarm system. Oh my gosh, I'm stressing. I'm not letting God be who God is in my life. And my stress is not helping this thing out anyway. And now I'm barking at my employees or my family or whatever else because I'm stressed. That's not God. That's me taking control over what I've quote unquote told God that he can have control of. And we just keep taking it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And like, God, why is this happening? Because I think I'm in control. Well, I am in control. That's the thing.
That is the problem.
That is the problem. I am in control. You are in control. And the moment that we can really look at that and see that we are actually in control of us, our feelings, our emotions, everything that we do, our actions, we are in control of what happens inside of our head and our heart. 100% control. Can you guys understand and agree with that? Can you guys see that? You're in control. If you don't like where you're running, then change your path or your control. And pick a different, you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you guys? Can you guys see this in your life? Where just little examples of how you took control over it. I mean, we can sit here in church, we can sit there and preach to people about how God's in control, God's in control, God's in control of my life. But is he really? In every little moment? He should be. I mean, he gave you, there's a verse in the Bible that says, who the Son sets free is what? Free indeed. What is freedom? If you're free, you have the power or right to act or speak or think as, or think as one wants without hindrance or restriction. You have that right. You are free to do it. But I'll tell you what, the moment that you let go and let God have control, be that sovereign entity in your life, then things start changing.
Definitely they do.
I mean, you talk about, I mean, with what you do, Joe, and your job, you know what the effects of emotional trauma does to people's physical bodies, right?
Exactly. Yeah, outside of injuries, you take into account the fall of man, of course, which brought in sickness and disease and all these problems, right? But short of that, you take away injury, it's the rest of it's emotions, in my opinion. You know, it's our emotional makeup, it's our emotional things that cause our body to mess up, okay? People are trying to get healed, and we can pray for healing, and God's provided all kinds of ways for healing. But if we don't allow the healing in our emotions from Him, we don't get our hearts on straight with Him and how He sees us, then those emotions are going to keep triggering sickness in our body. Right? I think it's 3 John 2, it says, "Beloved, I wish that you prosper in all things and be in health as your soul prospers." Right? And that's your mind, will, and emotions. So yeah. Okay. God, heal me. Okay, and He does, but how are you going to stay healed if you keep running your own life and allowing your emotions to run your life? Kind of difficult, huh?
And I mean, I talked about this once before about God's emotions. This is what I call it anyway. Philippians 4, 8, and 9, or God's emotions. You guys remember that? Can you throw that up for me, Shannon? Just Philippians 4, 8. And these are God's emotions. Keep your thoughts continually fixed on all that is authentic and real, honorable and admirable, beautiful and respectful, pure and holy, merciful and kind. And fasten your thoughts on every glorious work of God. Those are God's emotions. If your emotions are not lining up with these, then you're not lining up with God. And this is not a condemnation of any sort. This is an encouragement to say, hey, listen, if you can focus on what's going on, if you can stop yourself, look yourself in the mirror and really admit to yourself, what is going on with my life? Why am I here? Why do I keep going here? Why am I in this pattern? Which, everybody been in a pattern or still in a pattern? I mean, we all get there. We've all been there. Why are we in this pattern? Why am I doing this? Because you're not thinking or meditating or putting this stuff in your heart. I had this young lady I was working with earlier this week, and she was having a really, really hard time with some substance abuse things and emotional things. She's been told her entire life that she's bipolar and has a bunch of mental diseases. And I sat down with her, and we talked for about an hour. And just kind of went through a lot of different stuff of, how God, she doesn't believe in God. She's an agnostic, or I don't even know, but she said something like that. And she goes, I'm not against God, I just don't believe him. I need physical proof. And there's no proof in the pudding, right? No proof in the pudding. I'm like, okay. Well, I gave her this verse to read about 3-4 months ago. And so I brought it back up again. And I was telling her, I said, listen, you don't believe in God, that's fine. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to start changing your mind, start changing your thoughts, because the Bible talks about putting on the mind of Christ, right? Which is going to change your emotions, going to change your mind, show you the way. How does God see the situation? Jesus said that I only do what I see my Father doing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where I was trying to encourage this young lady to go. And she said, well, I don't believe in God. I said, that's okay. I want you to try this. Every time you come into that moment where you're thinking negative about yourself, you're thinking negative about your kids, or you're starting to pop off, I just want you to stop for a second and say, God, help me. That's all I want you to say. God, help me. And then focus on that for a second. It's been a week. And she wrote me yesterday, and she goes, Josh, it's amazing. the proof is in the pudding. I said the proof's in the pudding. Because what it does, it gets your mind off of what you're consumed on and gets you to meditate or think about the things of God. Even if it's just, God, help. You have no other choice but to think about God. Right? I was talking to another person who was having a really hard time with their significant other. I mean, really hard time. And this dude's like just complaining to me about this person, how terrible she is, and she's a beep, 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 whatever. And I said, okay, let me ask you a question. Have you prayed for her? Well, how am I supposed to pray for her? She's a beep, 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 beep.
That might be a warning sign. When you're hearing that all the time, something's wrong.
And I said, I understand. I've been there. I've done this. I walked this road. So here's what I did. I said, God, show me how you see her. And you can't beep, nothing after that. Because God's going to show you how he sees her, and it's going to change your mind because you're putting on the mind of Christ.
Exactly.
You can't help. Like I work with pornography addicted individuals. You know how to, if anybody's into that stuff, you know how to fix it? Pray for the person you're looking at. You cannot lust after a person that you're praying for. I mean, it's nuts. You cannot do it. I don't care how pumped up you are. You cannot lust after a person that you're praying for. Jesus, bless this lady in this picture. Bless her life. Come and see her. I just wrecked your man. That's how that goes. If you want to get done, that's how you finish that off and become straight and narrow on that deal. But it's amazing, guys. If you look at things like that, if you pray for yourself, just God help, and stop thinking what you're thinking, and put on the mind of Christ. Put the helmet of salvation on. Read Philippians 4:8. If it's not pure, honest, lovely, just, it ain't God.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be in your head. I need to take this just a slightly different direction because this is a little more serious. But I've had the opportunity lately to go to a few funerals, okay, with people that I know of, you know, and they've all been on children that have committed suicide or died. And I have to be careful what I say here because I don't want to offend anybody if they're listening to this. But one of the last ones we went to, it was all going really good in the funeral, the service and then, and I'm not knocking anybody, but I've heard this happen several times. It's kind of a repeating theme. Well, why would a loving God, sovereign God of this universe, and full of love, allow that to happen to that child? And I thought, and then he says, this one person says, well, I can tell you generally, and it's because of the fall of man. I'm going, okay, he's going to redeem it, right? But he didn't. He said, I can't defend God on this issue, and I won't even attempt to. I had my granddaughter with me. She just showed up, and so you'd think when you don't want them to pay attention, they're paying attention. When you want them to pay attention, they don't. Kind of like us, right? So I'm watching her go like this, and I went, "We're leaving." Boom, and so I had to leave because I did not want that implanted in her heart, right? So comes to find out that 2 or 3 of these different children, I call them, these teens that they were into other things. There was all kinds of things going on. Like the one was smoking dope, but it was laced with fentanyl. Now, did he deliberately go do fentanyl? No. You know what I mean? It happened, okay? And it's really sad. So coming out of that, I was talking to my granddaughter about that a little bit and just saying, God doesn't cause that, okay? And he didn't let that happen. It was free will choice that caused that to happen, and some unknown factors. It's the evil in the world, right? So I believe that God is ultimately in control of the universal outcome. He is, right? His plans will stand on this earth, guys. Like Josh said, don't be afraid of the one world government and all this other stuff that they're trying to do. It's all prophesied, but God will intervene. He's got it, okay? He really does. And he's got your life if you let him, okay? He's got it, okay? But personally, since the fall of man, and Courtney, you were saying it's really good. It's like he gives us the free will, and he gives us our life. But when we give it back to him by surrender, right? Pastor Ed's taught on that for years, and I never really understood surrender because I never did it really well, right? But when he means by your free will, you surrender it back to him. In other words, he gives it to me, I give it back to him. He gave me my house, I give it back to him. He gave me my wife, I give it back to him. He gave me my family, I give it back to him. That's surrendering back to him. When I do that, then I'm in essence allowing him to run my life the way that, and to lead me the way I should go, right? So these things, so when you see these tragedies in life, don't let the enemy put that thought in your life. God, why'd you let that happen? As soon as we think that thought, like you were just talking about, we're out of balance. It's a wrong thought. There's no right answer to a wrong question. There's no right answer to that question, right? There isn't. And it's tragedy, and it hurts, and it bites, and it's like, oh gosh, But there's a lot of things going on this earth that we don't really get just yet, right? So when I give my life back to him in faith, one day he was showing me this two-way street. I put my faith and trust back in him, and when I do, then that gives him permission. Somebody said, you giving God permission? Yeah, I give God permission. I give him permission by free will to operate in my life, right? And then in the same thing, then he turns around and he opens the door to grace, to all of his blessings, all of his way of taking care of us, then can flow into my life, okay? So I just had to say it about the kids because it's happening a lot, and but God's not doing that, and he's not allowing it, right? We allowed that in some way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jim and I did a funeral for a 12-year-old girl that was rock climbing and bounced her head off of a rock and passed away. Her mom actually had to make the call and tell the EMTs to stop doing CPR and trying to get her back. They were working on it for like an hour and a half or something like that. And, I don't know how to explain why that happened, but I can tell you how to get through it.
There we go.
I can tell you that the love of God is what helps you. The love of God will hold you and comfort you. I don't think it has anything to do with God. I think it has everything to do with that she bounced her head off of a rock.
Physical law, right?
I mean, exactly.
Gravity,
should that have
law.
happened? No. Should the innocent people in Ukraine be dying? No. Should the innocent people in Russia watch their entire economy get destroyed? No. Should the innocent people in America watch their fuel prices skyrocket out the top because of people that decide that they want something more than they care about anybody else? No. Should that happen? No. Am I a victim in all this? Are you a victim in all this? Absolutely. You can be a victim one time. Once it happens. Outside that, it's your choice. I have no choice of what they're doing to our economy, but I do have a choice on how to respond.
That's right.
So this is the way I look at it. This is the way I explain it to the kids I work with. Every reaction is equal and opposite reaction. You have one thing. I cannot hurt your feelings, but I can create an environment for you to get your feelings hurt into. And so based on that environment, you respond. Based on that response, I respond. And now we either have a fight, a discussion, or a shutdown, or whatever it turns out to be. Right? You can be a victim of your situation one time. After that, God gave the answer. God gave the answer. You are in control of what you want to do. You are in control. Did you know this? That everybody always gets what they want. You always get what you want, even though you don't want the end results. But at the moment in the time in which you did it, you got what you wanted. Whenever you pop off at somebody just to get their attention. Anybody ever have that where you got this plan in your head, I'm going to yell at her or yell at him. I'm going to say something shocking and they're like, oh my gosh, you are so right. You ever have that conversation in your head? Then you do it and it does not work out the way you plan. You guys ever, am I the only one that does this? I mean, I can sit there and imagine this whole scenario, Joe. And whenever I bring it up, dude, it does not go. I mean, if I had control of their life, it would go perfect. But I don't. And so what we're doing is we're responding to an environment. I can't tell you that losing that 12-year-old girl, these people dying all over the world, technically. These people starving in Africa, people that are finally getting water, good water, that doesn't have E. coli in it. Finally getting it. They have been the victim of situations that they can't do anything about. But is that God doing it? The sovereign God that's in control of everything? No. His sovereignty is in you. And you have the choice to make him the sovereign of your life. Because he's not sovereign over this world, because he gave that world to mankind. And he gave that right to you to be free. Because who the Son sets free is free indeed. Which means you have the choice.
You got to remember, way back in the beginning, let's look back at the garden originally. How did God want it to be? No death, no sickness, no disease, no tragedies, everything provided for him, just walking in the cool of the garden with God. Okay? And it will be that way again. Okay? So, what's...
No weeds.
Yeah, no weeds. No Russian thistles to pull and no ice to chip all day long like we were doing yesterday. And then so when man fell, so you got to understand a few things, or remember that when Adam and Eve fell, all of mankind fell because they represented all of mankind. Okay? So all mankind fell. So then we had to find a way back to God, right? And God, through Jesus, right? And provided that way back to God. So again, a choice. We can keep going that way, or we can come back to God through Jesus, okay? And those of you that haven't received Jesus as the Lord, and just ask him in your heart, just do it. I mean, don't wait, okay? We don't know how long we have on this earth, right? Do it. Don't mess with it, okay? How much of control, when we control life, do you think is fear-based?
Say that all again?
How much of our control is fear-based?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Think it's a factor?
I think it could be.
I'm afraid.
I think it's because, I mean, if you talk about fear, then you go back to the whole, what are you trying to do with your life as far as your self-preservation?
Right.
And if it doesn't line up with self-preservation, you get scared or in fear, or you're out of control, which is scary sometimes,
Right.
depending on who you are.
How
or
about to protect your emotions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't wanna be hurt.
You know
You don't wanna
what's
be hurt.
crazy is you think about it. Some people actually give up control to other people because they're scared.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. You really think about the word control and how that all works, and how and what God gave. The reason God gave us control is it's like the whole thing of your strength. Your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness. I mean, and how much are we using this strength for weakness versus
Exactly.
strength?
Right. So where I kind of was thinking about that when we were talking earlier is that I think that, control, faith, surrender, all those things are tied into how much we know that God loves us, okay? And if we don't receive his love, or let's say to the extent that we receive his love, faith becomes a lot easier. Is that right? You can trust somebody if you know they love you, right? If you're not sure, in a marital relationship or in any kind of relationship, if you're not sure, you're going to be controlling that thing for your emotions so you don't get hurt. Does that make sense? So I see that love is a big thing with control. Trying to protect ourselves, trying to make it work out the way you want. Yeah, pride can be involved in all that, but I really think the essence of that is love. Is understanding that he loves you. And you don't have to be afraid for your life. It takes some faith to let go, right? Okay, I'm going to trust you with this, But we can't trust him.
I'm confused. What are you talking? I don't understand what you're saying. Can you say that all in a different way? I don't understand what you're saying.
You don't understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay. If you don't, faith works by love, right? So if you don't know that God loves you, how are you going to have faith in him to take care of those things so you don't have to control them? Is that better?
Feels better, yeah.
Okay. Go with that.
I seriously don't understand what you were saying. I'm not even playing with you. That's good. No, that's good. I mean, but that's the solution.
That's where I was going.
Because perfect love casts out fear.
That's where I was going.
Love is what? The greatest of these is love.
Greatest of these is love.
Right? Because God is love. So if you want to, I mean, it's growing up in the church and growing up and listening to multiple different teachers, you always hear these people telling you what you should do and how God works and all the goodness of God and everything else. But then is there a practical way of doing it? How do I actually do it? I mean, I don't live inside this building. I don't live in this church because trash trucks lose control and roll over on their side. And I can't control that thing, but I'll tell you what, it's scary. Looking at all that money sitting on the floor, but then you got two actual breathing, living human beings inside this death trap sliding down a cliff. I mean, it's like, what? How am I supposed to do this? I mean, you can say that, and I can repeat it back, but how am I supposed to live that?
Exactly.
How am I supposed to give God control of those emotions at that moment? Because, dude, it's scary, and I was in fear. I was in fear for multiple different reasons. I didn't want that truck to be off the road, and I didn't want those guys to get hurt. And they're out of cell range, and so they've been on the ground for like an hour and a half without me knowing. And they finally got a ride up to where they can make a call out. I would have no idea. And that's scary to me. So, Joe, practically, in that moment, how do I
Well,
let God?
To me, it's a lifestyle, right? You make the choice all the time. In other words, I don't believe in living in 911, right? It's like, okay, this is happening to me now. Now we have to all of a sudden try to understand that God loves me and it's going to be okay in the middle of that. If you're not living that lifestyle as you're going through that and building that up, then when crisis happens, what do you have to draw on?
Okay, so that's fine and dandy. So right then at that moment, what do I do?
Call
What
it.
do I say? Who do I call?
God.
Call it to God, right?
God
You said
help
it
me.
earlier, help, right?
And see, that's the thing, guys, right there. If you can look at your situation, and at that moment, just stop. Don't
Let
stress.
go of the control.
Absolutely. See, that's where that's that little bitty things that stack up until you snap.
There it is.
Because you don't let God get control or give God control in those small things.
There we go.
We stress over the big things, but we don't necessarily focus on the small things. Like a truck rolling over, that's pretty dang big, and it's pretty obvious I'm stressing because I'm yelling at people and I'm driving really fast on snowy roads, trying to get there without a siren, and people are slowing me down. You ever been here? It's like, get out of the road, you moron! Yeah.
Don't you know I have stress?
Don't you know I'm stressed now and I'm not in control, but I'm in control right now. But those moments are easy to see. But it's the little moments whenever your wife or your husband shoots that look at you.
You know the look, right?
Or the lack of a look even. Or even the, what the? You know what I'm talking about? Those are the moments that you need to say, what? God help me. Help me. Because if we don't take care of those ones, then that becomes a big one. And then God help me is going to help you, but will it help her? Or will it help the other relationship that you're working on, or that you've not been paying attention to because you're letting the little things go and you're stressing about them, or you're smarting off the wrong way, or you're not letting God have what God should have.
What you practice
Absolutely.
is where you're going to go. It's what you focus.
Absolutely. It's always Philippians 4:8. What you think about, what you meditate on, will be what you get. You always get what you want. You always get what you want. What is this? Oh, thank you. I'm reading it again. I'm like, oh, we just read that. Thank you. Does that make sense to you guys? I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Now, I'm up here preaching at you like I got this on a stick. Right? Obviously, I don't. But I am on that path. And I'm practicing it on a daily basis. It used to take me, my brother and I were talking about this the other day. He was on the, what did he say? He was on the count of 5 thing. Basically, whenever something came up, he would give it 5 seconds, every 5 seconds he would be addressing it. He would focus on something else, Me, it was every moment thing. And whenever things came up in my head, I would stop myself physically. If I was driving down the road, I'd pull over, get out, and wander around until I got, and I'd say, God help, God help, God help. And and this is one verse to always remember, is that the Bible talks about taking every thought captive and giving it over to Jesus, right? And so that's what I would do. And that was my pattern. that I would do. I started this right around my 28th year on this earth. And it's become a habit for me. So now what used to be stopping my truck over, pull my truck over 30, 40 times a day, now it may be twice a week. It still happens to me, but I'm able to recognize it. It's that practice thing. I'm able to recognize it and put this thing into practice. Now, how do you start? I want to be 10 years down the road from where I am today. I'm not going to, but I have to start somewhere. And if this is something that you guys are already doing, awesome. Keep on it. Keep going with it. If there's something that you can work on, then work on it. It doesn't matter. God is not a God of hurry up. God is a God of come here. That should be a bumper sticker.
He's not a God of instant do it or else.
Do what?
Do what?
What did you just say? I didn't hear what you said.
I said he's not a God of just do it or else now.
He could be. I don't think so, but...
Could you put that scripture back up that you just replayed for him? Please. So what I was trying to say earlier, for clarification, is that it isn't just an incident-born type of faith, right?
Right.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
So we start out by receiving. Do we hear about Jesus and something? Yeah, something hits in our, and then we want that relationship with them, and we come into relationship with them, and then we begin to do. This is a lifestyle of walking that out. So my answer to what you were saying is that it can't be a 911 thing. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. What do I do? Okay, but it'd be much better to develop that lifestyle in you on a consistent basis, like you said with the little things, right? So keep your thoughts continual. What's that say? Continually fixed. Not just when I have a crisis, right? That's what I'm seeing for me. If I train myself in my response and I change what I believe about myself in the circumstances, and I begin to allow him to correct those thoughts and bring that thought captivity to him, so my thoughts become like his thoughts and his thoughts flow through me, changes my belief system, I can start to walk that way before a crisis happens.
Yeah.
Then when a crisis happens, I don't have to go looking for what do I do? You know, I'm already there. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I can check that faster. I know I'm way faster to back off of the stress than I used to be. Huh, Courtney? She can attest to that, yeah. Usually I would smolder and go, and then it would take me a while to get off. Now it's like I catch it much faster and whoa, stop it, right? Because I'm developing in that. And you haven't been on the earth as long as I have, but let me tell you. But you are working on that. I know, but you are working on that. That's what happens when you stress too much. See? So don't do stress. But does that answer that? That's what I was trying to. It's a lifestyle. You come into the kingdom with him, and you learn of his love. And as we're learning and learning and learning and choosing and choosing and learning and choosing, it becomes much more of an automatic response.
This is discipline. In the military, when I was in the military, they trained everyone to be disciplined in their body, to be disciplined in their mind, and be disciplined in their emotions. But they were disciplined in learning how to react to a situation. I used to train pilots how to fly, and I would train them in emergencies. Something went out in the aircraft. That's what this is. It's training you that you go to God.
Right.
The answer is always to go to God.
It's always there.
You only go to God if you know how to do it and practice it.
Right. So what she's saying for those online, she's saying that, like Joe was saying, it's a lifestyle. It's a discipline.
Lifestyle.
The difference between the military and real life is they force you to do it. I get the choice to do it. That's the difference. They'll put you out or put you somewhere. In the military, in real life, it is discipline. And as we all know, with discipline, we all have amazing discipline, self-control until we need it. For goodness sakes. I mean, I can say I got patience out the wazoo until I need it. Because my patience sucks. My discipline sucks. God's discipline, God's patience, God's love, that's where you got to land. And that's what this is talking about. Even if you go into Ephesians 6, where he talks about the full armor of God, that's what this is. It is, and that's the sweet thing about God. We're not in his army. He's not forcing us to do anything. And the military, yes, they make you do it, and there is consequences for it. That's awesome. It makes you a strong person. It gets you to be disciplined, right? That's what parents are supposed to do. And if your parents didn't do that for you, then either live your life or change it.
Well, then you blame them for your whole life.
Absolutely.
You don't have any
You're the
responsibility.
victim of that forever.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. When we put ourselves down, when we discipline ourselves to just say, God help. Let's start
Make the
somewhere.
choice.
Just say, God help. Right? Because if you make this, and this is one thing that watching churches, go and flow and do what they do, they'll take something like this, like the Holy Spirit, that became a religion. Man's religion. Oh, I want to tell you guys this. Check this one out. The little bunny trail. I got an instant message on Facebook the other day, on the Mountain High Facebook page. Some dude was asking, what is your religious beliefs on Islam, Judaism? I mean, you just start naming all these different religions out there. And I'm like, how are you supposed to respond to that? It's like, that's going to be like a conversation for the week. So my response was very simple. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in man's religion. I believe in God's religion.
That's right.
Love people, love God. That's it. So what that means is you love the person that you're the most frustrated with. God, show me how you see them. You love the people that are hurting other people. It's like God loves those people that are blowing up other people. He still loves them. Right? He loves the people that blew up the Twin Towers. I don't. But God does. God, show me how you see them. And it will change your life. I'll tell you what, just that one statement. If you're dealing with something inside your own heart, God, show me how you see me. And let that change. Show me how you see me. Because whenever you see yourself through a loving God, one that's not here to whoop you because you did wrong, because he is the great father who disciplines his children through death and car accidents and depression and whatever else. That's not who he is. He's a God of love that sets you free from everything. God, show me how you see me, and then that will change your idea, your identity of who you are. Most of the world's problems, most of the Christians' problems is identity crisis. We don't know how God sees us. We don't know. We see ourselves through our glasses, our eyes, our actions. God doesn't see
Usually
our
through
actions.
our failures, right?
Through our failures.
In a
We
negative way.
don't see. God doesn't see our actions. He knows the intentions of our hearts. Right? He knows our heart. We go out there. It's like and we'll finish up here pretty quick.
Right now, my wife's sending me messages, please.
Is she really saying shut it down?
No.
That's rude.
She's with the kids.
Okay. Oh, yeah, kids gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me finish up real fast. Okay. So, real quick, sin, identity issue, right? Right. So, whenever you lie to somebody, that is not a sin. Whenever you steal from somebody, that's not a sin. Whenever you kill somebody, that's not a sin. That's the result of sin. Sin happened long ago in your heart. Jesus said it, if you look at another woman and lust after her, it is as if you already committed adultery. If you look at somebody and hate them, it is as if in your heart, that is if you've already murdered them. Everything starts with the heart. That's why Jesus came to the door of your heart knocking, because he wants to come to your heart and change you from the inside out, not from the outside in. What you do outside, God does not know. He can't see it, but he knows. It's like, I guess the easiest way I can say it is like, it's that connection. All of you guys have been married, have been in a relationship, or got something where you are connected with somebody, and then all of a sudden you can feel a disconnection coming on. Maybe it's that look that I was talking about earlier, that disconnection. You can feel a disconnection. That's all that God wants, is a connection. And it starts in the heart. It starts with Philippians 4:8-9. It starts with practice. It starts with love. It starts with letting go of control.
It all goes back to love, I think.
Yeah. Letting go of control. You got something else? Let's finish up.
Finish up. Beloved children, this is in 1 John 3. You don't have to put it up. in the passion, our love cannot be an abstract theory we just talk about. Okay? But a way of life demonstrated through our loving deeds. So we know that his love dwells in us. He wants that love manifesting out of us. And that love will conquer many of the things we just talked about. Okay? Okay.
We're going to sing a few songs here. If you're online watching us, thank you guys. We love you very much. Put this in practice, guys. Put this in practice. Put a smile on your face for yourself, for your coworkers, your employees, whoever you're around, your spouses, your kids, whatever. You put this together, put a smile on your face, have some joy in your heart. We love you guys. See you next time.